All right, good day. It's Gabriel, give it take care. And tonight we're going to be going through the first practical we'll be doing in web application pen testing, web application pen testing. And according to the OWASP top 10, broken access control seems to be number one reigning web vulnerability out there. And now we're going to test on how to check for the broken access control, which is also related to IDO initially, but quite different. Well, you'll be seeing everything here in the practical section we're about to have now. And I'll be demonstrating on this lab the access control using the Portswigger, the vulnerable lab we can all use. And I believe you all have that set up already, and you also have your Bob suite connected to it already. Now, just for you to understand very well, in case for especially for the beginners who actually don't have their hands on this is the HTTP history. Whenever you send your request and everything, it comes through here. You come to proxy the HTTP history. If you want to intercept any request, you come to the intercept here and you see everything getting intercepted. Yeah, you can just turn it on and turn it off. Yeah, but for this course, for this practical aspect, we don't be really using intercept for the broken access control we're trying to solve. Now, to know about broken access control, now access control is the application of constraints on who or what is authorized to perform actions or access resources. Now, this is where if what only what you are authorized to do is what you should be able to perform, is who should be able to act like. Authentication confirms that you say who you say you are, like who are you? Yes, this is who I am. That's authentication. But authorization is what are you allowed to do? Then yes, okay. You are a user, you are allowed to this aspect. You are an admin, you are allowed to this aspect. Now, when it comes to access control being broken, it means there's a kind of manipulation that takes place where a user can actually pretend to be an admin or try to change himself to an admin or any other aspect of this, and take over whatever control that there is on there. So that's just basic meaning of access control. You can read more about the types of access control, in which we have the vertical access control, horizontal access control, and the context dependent access control. You can all go read about it, and we have these are the examples and everything. So the first one, we'll be solving the first lab now, the unprotected admin functionality. Now, as this is like broken access control or IDOR is, no, they are different actually, but this is almost one of the simplest vulnerabilities you can actually try to find out there. Almost one of the simplest vulnerability you can find out there. I mean, it's not that easy to see actually when you are searching for it, especially people in bug bounty. Nah, it's not easy to find access broken access control on web applications like that. You have to go very deep because these labs only talk about it, only demonstrate it on a surface level. This is a surface level access control, not really deep. Now, this is talking about an unprotected admin functionality, which means the admin panel is not secured, is open for anyone who can access it. And it says the lab has an unprotected admin panel and all. This is solution here actually. So in case you have been solving and you can't solve, you can just check down on the solution. Well, as for me, I used to check the solution, and even sometimes I don't usually get it right because it's something you have to practice and practice and practice until you get it right. Now, I've opened that here, and when you're testing an application and you want to check for the access control and you want to check for the admin functionality at first. Now, you already seen all these places. You've walked through the application, you've seen what they do, you check your account, you went there to see your profile and see if you are actually into anything, and you see, all right, now this is the login page. Of course, when you come here, the first thing you want to test is admin to check if they are actually using a default password and username for their admin panel or for the administrator panel. Then you log in and you see that, yeah, invalid username password and all. Now you can't, it's actually invalid because it means it's not existing. It's not existing at hand right now. Now what do I do? Come back here home, and there's nothing I can do here again actually. We're testing this kind of application. I say I want to test for other vulnerabilities. Then I can just come back here to the URL and type admin and see if I can get access to the admin panel, because you can literally get into anything by just appending something to the URL. When you append anything to the URL, it can take you anywhere as far as that page is found. As far as that page exists, you will see it there. But now it says not found. So does that mean that the admin panel is not existing? No. Now let's try administrator. And let's see. All right, it says not found too now. So admin, administrator, they are both not found, and I wonder why they are both not found actually. But there's something we usually do when it comes to things like this. We have the site map that every web application usually have. Is like a map for the way, the kind of things the web application actually has, but it's not built in this lab. It's not built in this lab. Most web applications usually have its site map. It maps the surface of that web application, tells you all the URLs you can actually have access to and what you can go and see. Now the site map isn't working, but there's another thing you can actually check for too. It's called robots.txt. Robot.txt. Now this is um hold on. Yeah, this is like um the bots of the web application directing every user into where they should go and where they are not authorized to go. So if you click some certain URLs and stuff, when you see the web application telling you 404 not found, or telling you unauthorized, yeah, when you're seeing unauthorized or forbidden, then you know that yes, this is the thing that's actually working, telling you that you can't have access to that URL you're trying to go to. Now we click the robots.txt. It lists out what I am allowed to see and what I am disallowed to see. Now it's telling me now that I'm disallowed to see this administrator panel, but then I just tried it out anyways. Like, okay, let me just try it out. I'm disallowed to see it. So usually if I type it like this, it should tell me that unauthorized, that I should not be able to access this thing. But then when I click on it, and actually have access to the admin panel, and that's why this lab is called unprotected admin functionality, which means that the admin panel was not protected enough. Now it means you can see that it's actually broken. These are broken access control, in which me as a user, without even logging in as a user, actually had access to the administrator panel, and I can delete any users that are on that account. Now this is as simple as it looks. It's actually a very great deal when it comes to web pen testing or bug bounty in general. When you find something like this, when you report it as a bug bounty hunter, actually, you are getting a very big paycheck that day, because this is a very big vulnerability. But these days, you actually not find this kind of stupid vulnerabilities out there. Like this very type I just did, you will hardly see them unless the developer is actually is not, or probably doesn't know what he's doing. Now we're going to be going to the next lab. In here, I'll just be solving about 3 to 4 labs just to get us on the way. Then you can go on and ahead and solve the remaining lab due to the way we solve this lab here. Now, the second lab, it says unprotected admin functionality with unpredictable URL. That's very nice. It means this URL is not something you can actually, think of. The first one is unprotected admin functionality, which means you actually know the URL. The URL is even guessable because, as you saw, it was administrator panel. But here it's saying is an unprotected admin functionality with unpredictable URL. Literally, you can't predict the kind of URL it has. And funny enough, there are 3 different ways to solve this. You can solve it through using Bob Suite. You can solve it in your command line, and you can also solve it through the dev tools. But let's see if I'll be using these three methods to actually solve this lab application. Wait for it to load, then start solving. In most cases, people usually get tired when they test for application and they really can't find anything, but it's actually there. The vulnerabilities are there. That's why we have vulnerability scanner. Though some vulnerabilities might actually be hiding, some scanners don't see some vulnerabilities by the way. But now let's check out this. Okay. Now what's the instruction here? All right, no instruction, just delete user Carlos. Now the first method we can use is by going through not page source. All right, yes, page source. It's by going through the page source code. Now you can see that by right clicking and then you see view page source. Now in view page source now, for most of the applications, this is actually very little. This is just 210 lines of code. In most applications, you'll be seeing thousands, you'll be seeing hundreds of thousands, and you won't even know how to go about it. That's why we have filtering. You can actually filter it and see what you're looking for. And when it comes to checking source code of application like this, you really don't look into all these HTML tags. You go straight into the JavaScript files, the JavaScript writings, anything starting with script. Then we know that okay, whatever is there is a JavaScript writings. And now you can have here we have the lab header.js. You start looking into it one by one. You can even filter it by typing Control F. Control F allows you to search, then it says script, then enter. Then you start seeing all the scripts, and the arrow is actually right here where you can start narrowing down every script you are seeing to read. Now I've seen many scripts. All right, that's all the script actually. Now there's this one script that actually this script tag that's actually concerning. It says VR is admin false if it's admin this and that. Now we see that admin false. It means you are not assigned as an admin, which is actually very normal by the way, because you're not an admin. So yeah. But there is something here I'm seeing admin panel tag set attribute href admin xluy12. Now this is a URL as you can see because there's a forward slash before the admin panel, and this is how you can actually test for on web applications. You look through the JavaScript files, no matter how much it is, you filter it, you search for things like script, admin, administrator, code, what else? Consoles. Just look into those things. You might find something juicy. Look for things like user number, user ID, anything. Just be crazy about what you search on there on the source code because you might never tell. Some things might be left there unprotected. Now I found a URL, an admin URL that's actually unguessable. Then I come back to my lab and I append it. And yeah, I found I found it. Now I'm on the admin. I can just delete this, you get. But I'll be showing other ways you can actually get this thing again. Now, first is the source code. I said secondly, you can see it through the dev tools. Now, let me okay. Now the way we do it through the dev tools is by Control Shift I, and we get access to the dev tools immediately. Now, basically speaking, what I see in the source code is actually what I'm going to be seeing in the dev tools. Yeah. Only that I'll be seeing some network passing. Now I just come here and I start opening all this little by little till I get to any script tag I can find and I start doing my search. Or I can just type Control F like I did, or Control R probably. It should be Control F till I see the tag I'm looking for in my code, and then I start looking for the broken admin functionality, the admin URL. Now always go to your dev tools. Dev tools is actually more suitable instead of source code because you basically see more in your dev tools than source code, and it's even more detailed. You can go into your network, into your console, and even try out some things. But might be doing that later, how to use dev tools as a pen tester or bug hunter whatever you want to go into. Right. So just checking, just clicking every three dotted buttons I can find just to look for the script tag. I mean, this is actually very crazy because you never know, you might actually be missing something, but you have to be very careful with your findings to make sure you get it right. Just click on every single one without missing any. Aha, now I found it. I actually found one script tag, and here is the admin that we saw earlier. This is the same tag, and you can see it here. And even here, sorry, and even in here you can see the URL actually. The same URL we found. Sorry, this is the URL we can actually we found in the source code. Here it is. So this is the second method of actually finding this kind of thing when navigating your way through a web application. Now this second, and the third method we can use is through our call command on our command prompt. Now what we have to do is, we found it on the depth on the source code. We can also do the same here by using our call command to get what we've add there. Yes, let me just say call get, then go pick up the URL stuff. Yeah, yeah, this is it. Just copy it. Oh, yeah, just copy it. Then come here. Then I paste. Come back. Hope I'm not making a mistake. I feel like I'm going to make a mistake here, but let's see how it goes. Oh, it actually went through, yeah. So I was right with the command. Now this is the third way you can actually get through it, and here it is. This is the third way. Now you can see the admin, and you can see the admin URL is even changing over time. That's according to the lab. The lab keeps changing the admin URL per, I think, probably per minute. That's why the same URL I get here, not the same URL you get here, even though we are solving the same lab on Portswigger. So this is the three methods you can actually use to test your web application when checking the source code or checking the anything page. Oh, yeah, there are four ways actually. One is the source code, second is the dev tools, third is by using call command. The fourth one is actually on Bob Suite, but I won't be going through that now. But since our major objective is to know how Bob works, so let me just have the privilege of doing that. Let me go test out the Bob. So I'll first of all come here, then cancel this out. Cancel this out. Yeah. Now every request I sent, because I've already connected my Bob with my Firefox, in case you don't know, for beginners that are actually having a hard time seeing how this works. Now when I reload, I'm going to go back here and reload the web application, the lab. So reloading it will actually send some requests there, and I will be checking those requests bit by bit to view. Now this is the first one, the get. Of course, it's going to be a get request because I'm not sending anything. If I input anything on the web server, then it should be giving me like a post request or something. But this is a get request, and this is a response here. So what I just do is I can't do anything here. I can only view. So a send to you right click on here, then send to repeater, and your repeater is right here, up here. Then click on repeater. Aha, now you can actually manipulate anything here and then send. This is where you perform most of your web attacks actually. In here you can perform any web attack you feel like performing and all, but now I just send the normal raw data. I didn't touch anything, just to view what I want to view. And here we're looking for the admin functionality, and here it is again. We have the admin here again, and here it is. Now you can see that those are the four different ways you can actually use to solve the admin lab on Portswigger when it comes to broken access control and all like that. So let me solve the lab and we'll be done from there. Well, I actually said we'll be using like, okay, 43 labs, right? Let me see if I can solve one more lab just for us to be entertained, because it seems like this is actually getting fun even for me. So when it comes to pen testing, there is always a need to actually read through JavaScript files. Beyond all these labs, know how to read JavaScript files. A lot of things are actually left on that JavaScript files, and there's a way you can read through them fast. We have so many automated tools out there you can use to read through some JavaScript files and all. And of course, that sometimes you actually solve these labs and it might not really go the way you want. It happens very often, whereby the lab you want to solve might not really go often. So let's try to solve the next lab, which is user role controlled by request parameter. Now, in this case, I might actually look into the solution for a while. It's been rusty on this broken access control thing. All right, this lab has an admin panel, admin, which identifies administrator using a forgeable cookie. Solve the lab by accessing the admin panel and using it to delete the user, Carlos. You can log into your own account using this. Now it says it has an admin panel like this, but I have to access the admin panel and then delete Carlos. Now them giving me this already means that probably the admin panel is protected this time. So the person I'll be trying now is try to access the admin panel through the URL in the raw way. Now let me see how I can get that done. And let's see, we also all try that, and let's see how we can actually get that done. So there's a project you can actually drive out from this. After solving each of these labs on your Bob suite, you can just come here, screenshot it like this, then add it to your report. Then okay, I solved a vulnerable web application on Portswigger. This is what I found. This is how I found it, and you can even list out the methods you can use to find these very vulnerabilities through the call command line, through the source code, or through the control. I'm sorry, the dev tools. Yeah. So okay, I said I'll firstly going to be testing the admin panel to see if it's actually protected or not. Let's say admin. That's calculator. Admin. All right, only available if logged in as an administrator. All right, nice. Now I'm not an administrator and I'm not logged in as an administrator. And the password and username given to me is actually not for an administrator. This is for a normal user called, Wayne. So I'm going to try and log in as Wayne. Yeah, Wayne, and then Peter. Okay, login. See, oh, then it's Wayne. Sorry, I always get that spelling wrong. I don't know why. W-I-E, all right, W-I-N-E-R, then Peter. All right, then I log it in. All right, now I'm logged in as Winner Peter, but then I can't actually get access as an admin or anything. I come back home, nothing. Still not getting my access as an admin. So what do I do from here? Because I know now that the vulnerabilities are actually there because the lab told me so, obviously. But let's say the lab didn't tell me anything. How am I going to search for these vulnerabilities anyways? I have an email here I can just update, but no one gives anything about that. Just in case that image might really major stuff or something, I could log out, but let's go see what this is saying. All right, how will I access an admin from here? All right, there's a winner ID winner. Let's change this ID to admin. Let's see what will be done. Now, if this is changed, this is actually an idle, not longer. You see, it's actually bringing me back to login to get access as an admin. Let me go back to my ID winner. Now, according to broken access control, another way you can actually perform an idle type of attack to get an idle is when you change this particular ID, you get this name to another user and it authenticated you in without requesting for a login or a password, and you know that yes, this is an idle vulnerability in the flesh. It's actually a great thing when you find this kind of vulnerabilities on air because these vulnerabilities can actually be very crazy and it destroys a lot. So now I already said I might be going through the solutions. All right. So okay. All right, now this is the solution here. It says you have to, browse to the admin and observe the account asset admin panel. We already tried that. Browse to the login page in the Bob proxy, turn interception on and enable response interception. All right, so for every JavaScript file, when you log in, most of it actually show you if you are an admin or not. Now I'm going to be reloading this so I can get the latest request on Bob. What I want to try to do now is change my what I'm doing. Now this is under this should be under vertical access control. Now this is the account I logged in with. Send it to repeater. Come to repeater. I can see now saying telling me my as an admin is false. Now let me see, admin is false. Of course, you have to know about HTTP header and response codes. Now this is 200 OK. Of course, it's telling me 200 OK because this is the right thing it's meant to show me. But let me see if I'm changing it to true. Now admin true, and I send. Now it's giving 200 OK, which is not meant to do actually. As I turn this to true, it's meant to give me like 404 unauthorized or I've been blocked or something. But instead, it's brought me in, which means I could actually change my role user from user to an admin. Now I'm changed to an admin. I'm going to be now I'm an admin. The next thing for me to do is to try and find yes admin panel. Now this admin panel. Now how will be performed on Bob actually you can't try that on the browser, it might just not go in. Now they already said that there's a URL for my admin. Now I've changed the admin to true. Normally when we did this on the web browser, it says it took me back to the login page. So let's say I didn't change this admin to true and I just click this admin URL here. It will give me a login page, something like okay, I have to log in as an admin. But now I've changed it to true and I'm navigating straight to the admin URL. Now let's see if it will take me in. Well, it actually took me in. Now I'm an admin and operating in the admin URL. Okay, let me try this. Let me turn this to false so you can understand what I'm saying. Let's say it's false. And I said get admin and I changed it. Now it says 401 unauthorized. Yes, I'm not authorized because I'm not an admin. Obviously, this admin is telling me false. Now, this is a great vulnerability because why should the admin be on the request header in the first place? The admin whatever this is should be on the response, not on the request. Now this is a very great mistake and the developers have to find something to do to this. So when you say a vulnerability like this, as far as the admin is appearing on the request, it is still dangerous to be there. It could be tampered with. Now you have to just find a way to remediate it and put it on the make sure it's appearing on the response and not on the request. Now the admin is false. Let me change this back to true and it will authenticate me in and I'll delete the account I want to delete. Now that's true and I'm meant to delete an account. So let's say normally just searching random stuffs and let's just go straight to what we're looking for. So just Carlos. Now this is the URL straight down to username and delete and all for Carlos. I just copy this, come back here, delete this, paste this, and when I send the request found 302 found. Now 302 found, when I say 302 found, it's same thing as 200 for me because it means it has been successful. Now this is a successful something, and as you are operating it here, is operating directly on the browser, so automatically you've solved the lab from your Bob suite. Now those are the three major labs I'm actually talking on explaining. So if you really want to understand more about access control and all, you can go read the write-up on Aka1 and just come here and say like access control and type Aka1. Then you can see how other researchers, security researchers, pen testers, or bug bounty hunters find their access control. And one thing in pen testing or bug bounty, when it comes to hacking in general or pen testing a website application, you have to see how others actually get it done. You have to see how they get it done. The same moves won't work forever. The moves working today might not work tomorrow. You have to keep yourself updated on how they get this thing done and how they actually go through it for you to understand it more better. Now there are a lot of labs here that we could still solve, but well, I already talked about solving three labs today, one, two, then three, and I'm very sure you've learned a lot from it. So you can just go on ahead and start practicing on how to, get this access control. There are still more labs we'll be doing, and I'll be explaining more on how to go about this access control while also pivoting through the idle phase. Yes, because idle and access control are totally two different things. So thank you for